Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our online class of maths of class 9th. So, as we all know that we had started in the last class we had started a new chapter, that is Introduction to Euclid's Geometry, and in the last class we had discussed about the introduction part only of this chapter, and after that it means basically the historical facts about the geometry we had discussed in the last class, and we had seen briefly about the axioms and postulates. Not today, and we have to go it means in the detail with the axioms and details axioms and postulates. So basically some of the axioms is given in the NCERT book, the Euclid's axioms, which we have to study, and there are 5 postulates of a Euclid's which we have to study. So let's start now. So today I'm starting with Euclid's definitions and axioms. So some of the points I had written about the Euclid's definitions. Okay. So let's begin. Euclid's definitions and axioms. Now we are going to understand and discuss one of the very important point regarding the definitions of different terms of Euclidean geometry. Now one of the point we are going to discuss over here. To define particular terms in Euclidean geometry, whatever terms or words were used by Euclid still need to be defined first, because of this a few terms are kept undefined in Euclidean geometry. Okay, so because of this the some of the terms are undefined in Euclidean geometry. Like if we want to define the area, then for that we have to define first of all the line. Means if we are going to define something with the help of some other things, so that some other things will also be defined first. Okay, so that only here it is just discussing. So in geometry we take a point, a line and a plane, in Euclid's words a plane surface, as undefined terms. So Euclid's didn't define these things and taken as it means into consideration as it is. Like there is no need to define a point, a line and a plane. Okay, it is already intuitively understand to us, we don't need its definition. So this is the Euclid's concept. Okay, and now let us discuss about axioms in details. Okay, now we have to now we are going to discuss about the axioms in detail. As we all know, axioms are universal facts which does not need any proof and are applicable throughout the mathematics. That is not specific to the particular branch of mathematics. Yeah, so axioms we all know, we had seen in the last class also, that the universal facts, the truth sentences that is going to be applicable everywhere in the mathematics, and it is not going to be specific to the particular branch, it is not going to be specific to a particular thing. Not only in mathematics, we can use the axioms out of mathematics also. So it's a wide use of axioms are there, and these all are simple common notions, you can say, like simple ideas which we already know each and everything. There's a common sense thing simply. Okay, now let us discuss it. Now some of the Euclid's axioms are as follows. So now let us discuss the Euclid's axioms and try to understand, and you will see that you already know all these things. Okay, now let's start. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Things which are equal to same thing are equal to one another. Isn't it strange? What is strange over there? It's a simple thing, we already know this thing. Okay, so next one. If equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. Like equals are added to equals, we are having two numbers 2 and now we are again adding 2 in both, so finally we are going to get 4. So 4 is equal to 4. So what is the need of proof over here? No need to prove. Next, if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Okay, like we are having two numbers 5 and 5. If we subtract equally from them, like we are subtracting 3 from them or 2 from them, whatever remainder we are going to get is also going to be equal. Okay, things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Let us suppose there is a frame of a stick, you can say, and in that whatever stick is going to be adjusted, so the lengths are going to be equal. A simple example, you can say things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. The whole is greater than the part. It is always the whole is greater than the part. So these types of things does not need any proof. So these are only the axioms. Okay, things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. Very good. Things which are double of the same thing. Okay, so if we double 5, so we'll get 10. So if we double another 5 also, then also we'll get 10. So it means it is quite easy to understand these things. Things which are halves of the same things are equal to one another. In the similar, we can say the things which are 1/3 of the same thing are equal to each other. Things which are triple of the same thing which are equal to each other. So I hope so that you will are understanding the things. Now you can generate by your own axioms also. Things which are 4 times of the same thing are equal to each other. Good. It's quite easy. So I hope so that you people have got the axioms. Okay, now we can easily observe one thing in above axioms, that these are common notions, idea, which we already know and can be used anywhere, not only in mathematics. Yeah, definitely it can be used anywhere, not only in mathematics, right? And see, these things are very important, and one of the very important thing which you have to learn in geometry is the deductive reasoning. It means you have to deduct some of the statements from the given statements or from the given facts. Based on given facts, you have to deduce something. Okay, now let us take one example. I'm trying to make you understand something with the help of these axioms. So okay, we can take that if an area of a triangle is equal to the area of rectangle, it means we had calculated the area of triangle and we had calculated the area of rectangle. Both are equal to each other. And after that, what we had found, that that area of rectangle is going to be equal to the area of a square. One particular square is there, so the area of rectangle and area of a square is also equal. We had found that. So from these two sentences, what we can conclude? We can conclude that the area of triangle which we had used earlier, it means initially, is going to be equal to the area of a square. So it means we can say that the area of triangle is equal to the area of rectangle, and the area of rectangle is equal to the area of a square. So it means area of triangle and area of a square both are equal to the same thing. So if both are equal to the same thing, so they must be equal. So this is also one of the axioms of Euclid's. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. So isn't it? So like these types we have to deduce something. Okay, so this only we have to use in problem solving. Whatever problems of proving and all, it will come. So we have to use these things to prove the things, and slowly we'll learn all the things. In the problems also I'll discuss with you people so that you can understand the things. So for today, this much is enough. So all of you will have to learn these axioms. These are 7 axioms which is given in your NCERT book. So you will must have to learn these things. Okay, so let's end it now. I hope so that you people must have understood the things. So let's end up our session. Thank you everyone. We will meet again in the next class.